What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk about innovation in makeup. I find that personally lately I've been really kind of feeling a little stagnant when it comes to the new makeup releases and just releases in general, whether it's, additional colors or whatever have you, maybe different textures. And I'm just thinking about where's the innovation? I understand so many products have been released, going from, new products such as multi-chromes were really a huge thing, specifically in the indie community about 2-3 years ago, and then just other different formulas that I think were unique. And so I decided to kind of just vaguely, quickly quickly, just look around in my collection to see whether I have genuinely unique products, unique formulations in my collection. And I figured let's talk about them. And yeah, I don't know, I just feel like in a time where a lot of things don't feel unique or interesting, let's talk about what I think is. I would love to hear your opinions about, of course, this list down below. If you have products that you think are extremely unique, and then also if you think none of these products are unique, I would love to hear your opinions down below as well. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Santa Claus the black man. Santa Claus the black man and his handsome like my daddy too. Santa Claus the black man. Santa Claus the black man, and I found out that's why I'm telling you. First things first, I'm going to start with the items where I just kind of have a one-off from a brand. I have 3 brands where I have kind of numerous items, mainly 2. One brand, I just have a whole bunch of the one item that I think is very unique to the brand. And yeah. That's it. Let's get into it. First things first, to my knowledge, Benefit is the only brand that has come out with a volumizing pencil, which basically means that there is volumizing fibers in this brow pencil. It is in a traditional kind of pencil format. You can sharpen it, although I have found that it's a bit finicky when you're sharpening, and I also have a weird kind of marcation in this part because of the fact that I did sharpen it. It just kind of broke off, like one of those really bad pencils that you had growing up where you sharpened it and you were just like, what's going on? That's happened there. But the actual product, the actual brow formulation, is really, really interesting to me. I find that yes, you get that color and you get to able to fill in your brows, but I do find a fullness to my actual brow when I use this product. I don't have very sparse brows, but my brows have a really nice shape, but I do like to fill them in, especially when I'm putting on makeup. And I find that this is a really nice pencil. If I were able to kind of pick and choose what I could do with this, I would honestly think that this formula might be best in just a wound up product, because like I said, it just doesn't sharpen the best, but the actual innovation, in my opinion, to my knowledge, of them putting volumizing fibers in a brow product, I think is great. So great. And I didn't say at the beginning, there are definitely some unique innovative products that I just don't have in my collection. I never picked up. I wasn't interested because it didn't fit my personal makeup aesthetic. And so that's why you're not going to see everything here, because I honestly don't have the money to buy everything. But just shopping my collection, these are the things that I found. Once again, something that I think is quite unique to this brand and to specifically this product is the Urban Decay shaken lip products. Now I want to say vaguely somewhere in my memory, I'm sure by the time I'm editing this video, I will remember that the concept of shaking a product is not in general unique, specifically when it comes to lip products. I know the Sephora brand Air Flash, and then of course the Dior Air Flash foundation was very much in an aerosol can, and they also had a ball in there. And I know there are other products in the makeup sphere that have balls in them that you have to shake to kind of break up the product, activate the product. Even I'm vaguely remembering some mascaras that were in that mindset. I don't distinctly remember at all any liquid lipstick formulas that were like that. And the unique thing about this liquid lipstick, not only is the shake 'em up situation, but also that it's a liquid lipstick that touts at being glossy
permanently. So you never are supposed to lose that sheen. This is in the shade Crushing. This is in collaboration with somebody. I'm unfamiliar with the person that it was in collaboration with. And I have absolutely no idea if it's still available. If it is, I will have everything and anything listed down below. Personally, this formula is just not for me, but the uniqueness and the ingenuity in creating this product was why I wanted to pick it up. I was so intrigued. They advertised it and they created, yes, a liquid lipstick glorified, and not even a liquid lipstick. They created a glorified lip lacquer, but it was unique. It's unique to my collection. I feel like it's unique to the community, and I think that's really where I feel the community has kind of lost its step. There's no uniqueness. Yes, we already have lip glosses. Yes, we already have this, but bring us something new. Yes, we already have pH. Yes, we already have, I don't know, glitter, but bring us something different. Do we have a hollow lip gloss that is clear? I know I saw Dee Signature come out with a multi-chrome, like opaque lip gloss. That's something new. That's something unique. You're at least bringing some ingenuity to the beauty scheme. Now, granted, can you make that if you have a multi-chrome and you have a clear lip gloss? Yes, you can. But that's not really the point. I mean, granted, I do appreciate these. That's like, you can't really doctor them up or make them up at home. But I just want some, what? Ingenuity. Okay, let's keep going because I've hit that topic home very, very forcefully. Tress Loose. So if you guys know my channel by any stretch of the imagination, you know that I love bronzers. Me on bronzers are like this. That has been the first category really that I dove into head forward, outside of eyeshadow, of course, and really fell in love with. And this is a bronzer that I recently picked up this year for my recent bronzer hunt. I typically do like a bronzer hunt series where I review a whole bunch of bronzers and I showcase them on my skin tone application, all of that jazz. If you're interested, I'm pretty sure I have an updated playlist and I will have that link down below. This is in the shade Deep. I did pick this up from Ulta, and I must say this is a very unique formulation. No, it's nothing, once again, out of the stretch of the imagination. It is a bronzer. It is a cream bronzer. But I've never felt something like this. So it's not like a putty in the sense of like the Stila putty highlighters where you could push them around and it was kind of like a petroleum jelly type situation. This is not it. It really does feel like a firm cream, and it's very lightly pigmented. So if you're somebody who kind of has an issue with pigment level, this is definitely something that I think is easily beginner friendly. It's easy to pick up. I have applied this with natural hair brushes and synthetic brushes, and I just find that this is just such a unique formula, and a formula that could really work for a variety of people, a variety of skin tones. And I like, once again, that what? Ingenuity. I feel like there really is some ingenuity here with, yes, it's a cream bronzer. You can't really make anything truly unique about a cream bronzer other than like the formulation and the undertone. And I think they really brought a very unique formulation to the market that I personally have never felt before. Like I said, it's not truly a cream in the sense of like the e.l.f. creams or the ABH creams or the NARS creams. It's not as creamy as that, but it's not a straight up powder. It is truly, I wouldn't even say it's in between. I would say it's closer to a powder formula. It definitely does give a powder finish, if I did not say, and it does dry down. It's pretty much a powder once you take it out of its packaging. It is truly a unique formula, and it's one that if they have it in store at your local Ulta, I would highly recommend you just touching the product. Now, granted, those testers can leave a bit to be desired, but it truly is unique once again, and they had some ingenuity when they created that product. Another product that a little bit less ingenuity here, but I still think it is unique until its own when it's coming to and looking at my cream products as a whole. And this is the MAC Glow Play blushes. This once again is a very unique formula. It is a cream. It is a very kind of firm cream. and you can actually push them around, which I honestly did not know until just now. And this is once again a buildable formula, which I don't mind a buildable formula as long as it actually builds on my skin tone. I find sometimes people say they're buildable and they don't build on my skin tone, but I do find that this particular shade at least does build. Like I said, it is kind of one that you can mold with the finger, and it's once again pretty much a powder. I mean, it's a cream, but it's pretty much a powder, very much a powdered down finish. It does, I would say, lean a lot closer to a matte finish than like a satin finish, which will come into place in my next kind of cream. But I've never tried and felt a cream like this before, specifically when it comes to blush. And once again, I feel like MAC really took their already existing fantastic blush formulations that they have. They have a huge range of blush formulas, and I must say I have pretty much one of all of their formulas. Absolutely love MAC's blush formulas, and this is just adding insult to injury. I feel like when it comes to their brand, they really can kick your butt regardless of the brand when it comes to blush formulas, pigmentation, and color ranges. And yeah, once again, they had that ingenuity. Okay, so the last brand or kind of grouping of products that I'm going to talk about that's not really an extensive collection from one specific brand is Half Magic. I've told you guys once and I've told you guys again, this is just a formula that I just think is truly so unique that you really can't put your finger on what it is or really give a comparison. And that's really what it came down to when I pulled products for this particular video. And if you want to see others, definitely let me know. I just felt like I could not say this is exactly like this. Whereas a lot of the products that I have in my collection, I could really say it's very comparable to this, it's very comparable to that. Just for demonstration purposes, this is the shade Magic. Maybe I shouldn't do Magic Brownie because you can't really see that swatched on my hand. Let's do this one. This is in the shade Sexual Frustration. I have 4 out of the 5 shades that they have available right now. And this is definitely a lot creamier than the MAC. I mean, extremely creamy. I would say you definitely can make an indent, although because there's not as much product going up as there is in the MAC Glow Polishes, you can't really see the finger indentation. It's a lot more wider and a thinner pan of product in this particular product. Once again, this is actually a pretty pigmented product in my opinion. You can build it up, and I do tend to build it up. It does give a powder down finish, but this is definitely, in my opinion, a lot more on that closer to a satin than the MAC is. It's not as glowy as like the Patrick Ta. Patrick Ta's cream blushes are extremely glowy, but these are very much a satin. You still have like a lit from within, kind of a lifelike cheek. And I am using one of the cheeks shades on today. I'm wearing Only Drama, which is in my project pan. If I did not say, I did film this look and it will be linked down below. But yeah, this is another very unique formula where it picks up with a brush. It picks up with a brush and a sponge. All of these products pretty much pick up with both, except for the Trust Loose. I would not recommend picking that one up with a sponge. I just don't particularly like that formula with the sponge. It can, but I would not recommend it. But regardless, with the brushes that you use with this, it can be synthetic or natural. And I just find a very unique application and very unique texture. And once again, it's kind of like the MAC, right? Yes, it's a cream blush. Yes, we've seen cream blushes that go to a powder matte or a powder kind of satin radiant finish, more satin skin like finish, but we've not seen them from this texture, this consistency to those various finishes. And I think that's where the ingenuity came in when it came to those particular products. And for me, like I said, makeup has been a thing for eons at this point. So I'm not really bent out of shape with like there not being a new product released. I think perfectly fine with the types of products that are constantly being released, but I wish that there was just something more unique about them, more ingenuity. I've said it 10,000 times. Let's keep going. So I have 2 brands that I want to talk about where I find they have quite a bunch of products that are unique and there's some ingenuity to them. And I have a lot of those formulas. So, one brand that I think arguably you could argue you don't feel the same way and that you could get, but I don't personally know in my collection a formula that I would say is very similar, are these Pat McGrath products. And I kind of want to I will leave the next brand that I was just thinking about. I'll leave that for a second video if you guys want. But let's talk about Pat McGrath. So this is her blush. No, this is the highlighter. She has a variety of highlighters. I have them in these more limited edition formulations and some of the coloring and like formulations that are more permanent. Regardless, I think her Baked Gelée formula is outstanding. Yes, Baked Gelée formulation, specifically when it comes to highlighters, is not innovated and like uniquely created by Pat McGrath. But I think that her formulations are top of the food chain when it comes to these Baked Gelée formulas. They are, in my opinion, forgiving in the sense that if you have texture, if you have really big pores, it's not going to emphasize as much as other brands would. Right now I'm wearing the Rare Beauty highlighter, and that is another Baked Gelée highlighter. And although I do personally like that highlighter, I find that if you have bigger pores, if you have a lot of texture, that can emphasize it a lot more than this particular highlighter. Granted, highlighter, what does it do? It emphasizes and it draws attention to that particular zone. So keep that in mind. Any highlight is going to bring attention to a particular zone, but I find that hers just aren't as bad. And I also just find that her formulas are just top of the food chain when it comes to particularly her highlighters. They're just fantastic. If you find the right shade for you and also for your skin tone, you really cannot you can complain. You can complain about the price, but you also should only be buying Pat McGrath on 30 or 40% off. I mean, honestly, if you're buying it for more than that, what are you doing? What are you doing? I also have this is a blush. That's another issue I do have with her. All of this ingenuity and all of the product packaging is pretty much the same. But anyways, I pulled out of my collection 2 duo blushes, and the formula on these I think is very, very unique. Yes, they're powder blushes. Yes, I get that. There's no argument there. But I think the finish of these on the skin is something that I cannot say distinctly I can replace or duplicate with any other product in my collection. It's not a straight up matte and it's not a straight up satin, but there is some life to these powders. And I find that I wouldn't even necessarily say they blur, but I just find that there is a magic to these powders that I genuinely enjoy. Once again, she does have some unique colors and she does also have more single colored blushes. I do have quite a few of those. I have blush and I have face palettes. I kind of have the gamut when it comes to Pat McGrath. I really love her cheek products. And I will say once again that to me in my collection, that's a formulation that I can't really replicate. And then lastly, for all of this Pat McGrath packaging, it's the bronzer. This bronzer is just so unique. I do not like matte bronzers. And I will say that this is a hair off of the matte bronzer kind of category. I wouldn't say this is very lifelike, but it's definitely not satin. It's definitely not a straight up matte, but it's a hair above that. And for some reason, this is just beautiful. I absolutely love it. I love the undertone too. Do not get me wrong, but there's just something about this formulation that I just don't think I can ever be able to replicate, specifically if I'm looking at my matte bronzers in my collection. Not even talking about the color, the actual formulation and how the finish is on the skin. Like I said, it's a powder bronzer. Yes, I have plenty of powder bronzers, but if we're looking at how this ends on my skin and how my overall base looks, that is not something that I can replicate because what? There is some ingenuity in those formulations. Okay, the last brand I feel like is a brand that when you think of ingenuity and you think of makeup artistry, you think of this brand and this brand owner. And I heard somebody recently say that with this brand, you're really putting your money towards getting products that the brand owner created after their years in the makeup industry. You don't always see that in these makeup artist owned brands. I find that in general, they either choose to like really be there for the like whole market, the kind of consumers market, or they truly are trying to target the makeup artist market. And then sometimes they kind of end up wound in the middle. But I find that their brand is really taking their techniques that they learned, their thought process, the things that they kind of had to make behind the scenes previously, and they perfected it, and now they're in these products. And although they may not be perfect for you, I think that all of the products have their own merit, and I think that all of the products can be perfect as long as you actually pay attention to what they're useful for and how they're being used. And then you can see if they work for your kind of makeup routine. I've introduced this brand way too long. Okay, this is Danessa Myricks. I find that she is just one of the most inspiring and really thought-provoking, unique makeup artist brands. Like I said, I think that she brings all of her knowledge, her training, and she puts them into these products. And some of the products that I think truly in my head are some of the most unique from her kind of collection are these bomb products. So first of all, she brought new ingredients to kind of the Western market, or I wouldn't even say Western market because these ingredients were like founded in Sweden. Let's say she brought new ingredients to the US. A lot of US owned brands were not using Upsolite. And if you didn't know, Upsolite is really known for controlling your oils and kind of helping that type of situation, specifically in makeup. And so she first originally came out with this range where you had that universal balm powder, and there were kind of balm powders with tints with her kind of overall range of skin tones. And I decided to pick this up because I really wanted something that I could use as a primer and or anything else, because she touts that you can use this as a primer, as a foundation, as a powder on top of your foundation, all of those things. And so for me, I really wanted to play with that concept, but in a clear product, in the event that like I'm me and I just didn't know what I was doing at this time. So I'm very happy that I picked this product up. And I mean, this is just a wildly unique formula. I mean, you really can't pinpoint, in my opinion, a brand that came out with a balm powder where the product is literally a cream balm. Like think of like a Vaseline type balm that you're going to put on your lips. And then when you apply it, it dries down into a powder feel, and then it's done. That's it. I don't feel any moisture anymore. It's a powder once it applies to your skin. And that is what's so unique about her brand. She comes out with these unique things. Now, personally for me, I reach for this when I want something that has a longevity to, once again, control my oils. Also, I find that it does actually kind of, fill in my pores. So I do like that, but I will only reach for this if I'm using a more liquidy and medium to full coverage foundation. I don't know what it is. It's probably a like unnecessary bias that I have, but I just feel like that might not be the best with lighter coverage foundations, but I'm sure that like I'm just being unnecessary about that. Next, after that product, she came out with these babies, and these are her blushes. She has a wide range of these as well. I decided to pick up two shades. This one is in Golden Hour, and then the other one is in Jubilee, and this is more of a nude. I don't know if you were able to see the shade, but that's the shade right there. Absolutely love these. Same exact formula. You're still getting that like balm to powder finish, And once it's really like it's a powder. It's a powder. You can build this up, you can shear this out depending on your skin tone. I love the pigment level of this because Danessa Myricks herself is a woman of color, black woman, and I love that her formulations, her products are built to ensure that they really do work for darker skins, and that of course anybody else who is of a lighter skin tone can really just shear out the product. So absolutely love these products, and so far that has kind of been the end of the balm powder kind of range. She does have a variety of bronzer and contour products, and although I like those, I don't find that those are as kind of unique in the grand scheme of things. That's why I didn't put them in. Also, I finished the bronzer, so I only have the contour left. Anyways, another thing that I think is truly unique, and I really don't have anything else like it in my collection, is her cream highlighter. A lot of people really don't like this product, and I understand why. This, like I said, is her cream highlighter. This is in the shade Dew Wet, and as you can see, there is a brown base to it, but there really isn't any color to this product. Once you take it out of the packaging, you're really only getting the sheen, and if you really don't catch the light perfectly, you're not going to get the sheen. The thing about this product is that you really have to, in my opinion, put your powder highlighter under, and then you use this to kind of melt that powder into the skin. When I was using this, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I think this is unique in the actual product and like application wise. I have not seen another product advertised to be used in the same way. And I wouldn't even say the formula is really kind of something that you can really get anywhere else, because you can't. You really can't get anything else like it. And like I said, I just don't think it translates on camera unless you use it on the face. And so for that reason, once again, I'm gonna say this is unique and this truly is innovation. Is this something that a lot of people like? No, but I think that is the kind of other side of ingenuity. You know, you're gonna potentially pick something up that nobody likes, or not as many people like as they would have liked something more mainstream, more streamlined, more typical, that they know how to use, they know how to apply, all of that. And then the last two products that I'm going to talk about, I think are very, very unique. They're actually things that I don't think are going to be in my collection for much longer, but these are two of her foundations. These are her serum foundations. So Danessa Myricks has come out with quite a few different foundation type products, and I feel when I picked these up, I shouldn't have. I think that when you get to the point of kind of shopping around brands, specifically in the indie world, when it comes to Danessa Myricks, I would recommend that you not really shop in her brand until you really know your preferences and you really are good with shade matching. Honestly, I was not good with shade matching. As you can see, neither of these shades actually works perfectly for me, and the kind of kicker with this product is it is so pigmented that I can't kind of get rid of it by using it quickly. I mean, this is a product that you put a couple of dots and that's pretty much all you need. It's not as concentrated as the previous foundation to this, which was in like a very kind of futuristic kind of packaging with like one little mirrored hole in the middle, but this still does have a lot of coverage to it, and I found that it just was not something that I could use a lot. Lastly, this product actually broke me out. I would get weird breakouts under my skin after using this consistently, and I think it is the oil that they used in this product to mix that concentrated serum of the previous foundation. So with that said, I think it's going to be like the year that this goes, but I don't want to kind of dismiss the fact that this truly is innovative. In my opinion, there's really no other brand that's giving you this much opacity in a foundation and this amount of product. You also, it's just so unique. This does give you a skin like finish as well. I do want to point that out, because when I was talking about that just now, I realized that like somebody might say, oh well, KVD does give you that, and they do, but in my opinion, KVD's products just don't touch that. I still haven't tried their Good Apple foundation, specifically the one that's the combo friendly version. Maybe I'll try it this holiday season. I don't know. I'm not really in a shopping mood when it comes specifically to makeup in general. But yeah, that's my long, unnecessary list of products that I think are unique. And I think that the brands really thought about the products and thought about a unique and, interesting way to give us the vehicle in which we can apply that product, or the product is given to us. And I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate getting the uniqueness out of all of these products. And I find that that's the thing that I'm really hoping in 2024 we will get more out of with these brands. I'm hoping that more brands will maybe start finding unique, interesting products, chemical products, or, scientific products, whatever, that are built and created and designed in which it can genuinely help certain skin types with longer makeup, or even different methods of application where you get more of a putty product. I like the concept of this variety. And as I kind of hinted to before, I completely understand from a perspective of a brand owner not wanting to do this, because you may not reap the sales back of like the amount of money it took for you to kind of get the technology that you're adding to your product, or testing out if the product actually works and if the consumers potentially will like it. But I still think that at the end of the day, consumers as a whole will be more appreciative of just seeing different things from different brands and seeing brands trying to step out of the box. So yeah, that's all I got for today's video. I would love to hear, like I said, your opinions down below. If there was a brand that I missed that you would like to see me kind of feature in this video. If you liked this video, as always, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're liking the content. And with that said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.